Ibrahim Traore just made a 360 turn and stood against his own principle. So is this man really the savior of Burkina Faso and other African nations? Is he truly the person that we portray him to be, the Messiah sent to unify Africa, for Africa leaders to learn from? Is this truly the man? Because now he's going against the principle of humility, the principle of trust, the principle of letting go, the principle of stepping down. Because letting go and stepping down is one of the principles that leaders lack in Africa. Whenever they get hold of power, it is extremely hard for them to let go. And whenever they get hold of anything, it's extremely hard to step down and hand it over to the next person. Extremely hard. That is our problem in Africa. That is part of our problem. But Ibrahim Traore is someone that is widely loved by his people and also other Africans. They stand firmly by him and wish him all the best. But recently, this guy has, over the period of years, made promises of stepping down from power after he has stabilized the country. But it looks like this guy is not stepping down anytime, any day, anytime soon. Because as at yesterday, it was reported that this guy has dissolved and disbanded the country electoral commission. The agency who has the responsibility to carry out an election in the country. He has dissolved it. It said it cost so much to carry out an election in the country. So that is why he dissolved it. According to BBC News, they said Burkina Faso military ruler has disbanded the country electoral commission, calling it a waste of money. Since seizing power in September 2022, the coup leader have initiated sweeping reform, including the post-moment of election. He has postponed this election again. And again, he has postponed it over and over again, guys. This is like the second time he has postponed it. And he has postponed it till 2029. We are in 2025, 26, 27, 28, 29. 4 years coming is when he said he's going to hold another election. That the country is not stable yet. The country does not have money to carry out any election now. So that is why he's postponing it again for like the third time. So the question is, Nigerians, I know this guy has carried out a lot of reform in this country. In fact, his own people even want him not to do any election. That is what his people want. Because they believe election in that country has not reformed the country. Let's be honest. Where has election reformed any country in Africa? When has election ever reformed any country in Africa? Because a lot of Africans believe elections do not reform anything. But also, tyrants are even way worse. Tyrants do not reform. If we check some countries that tyrants have ruled, there's no significant development. They end up getting greedy at last. Go check. The only place we can beat ourselves and tell that, oh, there were maximum reform is Libya. But right now, Libya is nothing to write home about. And now, Burkina Faso. There are reform going on there. And they have a ruler, a military ruler. But I do not know about any country who have, in Africa, who is being ruled by a leader, by a ruler, not an elected president or minister, who is being led by a ruler, and there is maximum reform in that country. Let me know, guys. So his people, in a way, support him. They want him not to give up power because they are afraid of the next person that they will elect. The destruction the next person will bring, they are afraid of it, guys. That is why they do not want him to give him power just yet. So it's a really difficult situation, guys. It's a really difficult one. It's a difficult one, honestly speaking. It's really difficult. We might call him a ruler, a tyrant. Anybody can call him a tyrant, a ruler. But then again, his people want him to be a tyrant. His people want him to be a ruler. As long as the reform is coming, as long as the progress is coming, let him rule. Africans are not hard to please if you work on their behalf. Africans are not hard to please. If this guy can please his people and do well for his people, because his people have tested democracy many times, election many times. If he do well for his people will keep him there forever until he dies. Yeah. Africa are not hard to please.
They are not. I shut it down. I went to Lagos, I shut it down. Where the office of First Lady was getting more money than some of our ministries. I shut it down because nobody voted my wife. And both of us live in the house. It's my wife and I love her. My best friend, my closest friend. But then, we didn't campaign. So I said, why should we have an office? She even have advisors. Advising on what? So I shut them down. So I will cost of governance. You cannot, my brother, you cannot feast when you tell people to fast.
This is how a man seeking an election to do. This is exactly what he should do. Not just host these big parties, stand on the podium and be talking. Host this meaningful gathering. Speak to them closely. Make sure you speak to ordinary Nigerians. Not all these large congregation and political people will just fool everywhere. Like a greedy people, wicked people will just be there cheering you up. He said it's going to cost of governance. And he did it during the time he was a governor. Make we no lie. What the person no do, say no do. I no go lie, say, I don't know if I'll vote with our bill, but then again, I no go lie for person head. That is to say, office of the First Lady in his tenure will not exist. But make we no forget, office of the First Lady for Buhari tenure no exist, but we saw one of the hardest time in Nigeria. Now, he start wetin we dey go through now, Buhari time. And meanwhile, office of the First Lady was never in existence. But they chop money. But now, Office of the First Lady is very much in existence, and she has her own yearly budget from the national treasure. Okay, but Peter Obi said he's going to scrap it. Let me know exactly how you feel about it, guys. Let me know how you feel about the Office of the First Lady and Peter Obi saying he wants to scrap it.